I've just written mine down. It's just basically a potted history of how come I'm here, really. I'm from a place called Leek in Staffordshire. We went to Blackpool once a year. Then when we moved to Coventry, we advanced to Tenby, Rhyl and Conway. But not until 1978 did I find the multicoloured gate that opened a world I knew must exist, where anything went, life took a twist, funk met punk, art met heart, trendies were friendly and beatniks were smart, where olden and modern rolled on the rocks, and middle-aged women and men wore bright frocks, and all this encased in a white elegance, with seaside and hills round the backs and the fronts. I screamed to myself, I want to live here. But you're from the Midlands, you can't do that, dear. 30 years on, less easy to frighten, I upped sticks via London and moved here to Brighton. For 20-odd years, I'd been playing in bands, but carting harmoniums was hurting my hands. And 18 years I'd been home with my son. Now he was off and my mother thing done. My job as a teacher was fading away, and gigs fizzled out or else didn't pay. Now I'd met a boyfriend, you'll know who I mean, who actually lived where the grass was so green. I visited lots to be with that fella, and we hosted a club in the sanctuary cellar. Every month, the last Thursday nights, Nick Pin's box of acoustic delights. Nick would perform with a known special guest. I'd sit on the door, then I'd get dressed in a tall hat or two for some songs of my own. Then I'd drive back to my South London home. Now there in that cellar, I drank in the get-up and dared to envisage myself in that setup. A cafe upstairs, a canteen-type space, and downstairs below it, parked in one place, my hats and harmoniums and Nick's heavy stuff. Would the world come to us? I'd had enough of driving and climbing with organs and gear, and now my son off on his working gap year, I needed a project like hats, but more sturdy, more lasting, more solid, more shared and less nerdy. A place maybe where all the things I like doing, I could do with all that froing and toing, where perhaps I could cook and sing songs at least, and my mind kept returning to Brunswick Street East. If I rented a cafe, would you help me make tables and sort out a system for gadgets and cables? Of course I would, but the cafe would be yours, because I'd still want to play and record and do tours. Nick's brother-in-law, who found people loans, added fuel to my fire and impetuous groans, and suggested I buy somewhere, living upstairs. A mortgage might answer my wild roving prayers. So that was that. The thing was secure. My cafe would be roomy, and on a ground floor, I'd lay it all out like the Bom-Bane and sit there and chat, do a crossword or two. Then every hour on the hour, ceremoniously reach a hat from a shelf and harmoniously screech. I'd get up to swim in the sea all year round, then go with my trolley to the market in town to find the most local and succulent veg and eat well before opening. That's what I'd pledge. So simple, so easy. There we would be, my customers, food, my harmonium and me. And when Nick was home, we'd open at night, sell drinks and do sets and set Brighton alight. Needless to say, the shape of a plan changes each day like an egg in a pan. And when I found somewhere to buy, of course, the cafe was tiny on 2 separate floors. Before you get anywhere near to your dreams, every stone when it's found must be brushed till it gleams. Courses, permissions, license galore, justifications, business plans, more, designs to the council, changes to floors, proofs and new roofs, fire alarms, doors, PATS tests, health, hygiene, first aid, food safety taxes, laws about trade. But when I read on the door of my night school in Merton, welcome to hospitality, I was certain this would be the world that lived in my fables. I'd sit people down at their interesting tables, serve Belgian beers and cook homely food, make everyone welcome, unless they were rude, and still maybe teach on a homework club night or find some more songs I'd been meaning to write. If you want to do something badly enough or change what's expected, it'll always be tough. You'll cherish your energy, friends and ideas, and look deep in the eyes of your hopes and your fears. You'll take on the risks and work them away and realise Rome wasn't built in a day. And then other people will want to partake, and the yolk in your pan will wobble and break and reshape itself with community force to an omelette now served with a different new sauce. It might take long years of perfecting the dish, but the heart will remain of your first eager wish. And of course, I didn't swim daily, oh golly. Or go to the market each day with my trolley. Or sit and solve clues as each plate washed itself, or on every hour lift a hat from a shelf. That first year I lived on chocolate and gall, determined I wouldn't crack up or fall. I'd cling to the curve of my learning with hope and try and look lively with makeup and soap. And as dream and reality held hands and cried, I decided quite firmly my place would survive. From friends who work here and visit, I've learnt an omelette's more tasty, a little bit burnt. I now watch for coaches as I happily stir from Coventry South and North Staffordshire.